Hey everybody, I miss you so much. I just wanted to let you know how much I miss you and cannot wait to see you again soon. I have decided to do something fun to me because you know, guys know how much I love books and you know how much I love reading. Um, to kind of channel our time that we would share together in the library where we get to do read alouds and fun interactive lessons. So I wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite books that I think you guys are going to love too. Some of my friends have read it in their classrooms, and it was also selected for Battle of the Books for our fifth graders these last 2 years. So it's a great read. And so my plan is to come on every day, post a video every day of me reading at least 4 or 5 short chapters. So you can log on and take a look and read at your pace and listen at your pace. And maybe we can interact through comments or questions and do some video Zoom sessions where we can talk about different parts of this awesome book. So to get started, we are going to be reading The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. And if you haven't heard any of his books before, you are going to absolutely love it. We've read some in the library before, but I doubt you guys remember as much as I did. But so we will start with Chapter 1 of The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. Chapter 1, The Ocean. Our story begins on the ocean with wind and rain and thunder and lightning and waves. A hurricane roared and raged through the night, and in the middle of the chaos, a cargo ship was sinking down, down, down to the ocean floor. The ship left hundreds of crates floating on the surface. But as the hurricane thrashed and swirled and knocked them around, the crates also began sinking to the depths. One after another, they were swallowed up by the waves until only 5 crates remained. By morning, the hurricane was gone. There was no clouds, no ships, no land in sight. There was only calm water and clear skies, and those 5 crates lazily bobbing along the ocean current. Days passed, and then a smudge of green appeared on the horizon. As the crates drifted closer, the soft green shape slowly sharpened into the hard edges of the wild, rocky island. The first crate rode to shore on a tumbling, rumbling wave, and then crashed against the rocks, and with such force, the whole thing burst apart. Now, reader, what I haven't mentioned to you is that tightly packaged inside each crate was a brand new robot. The cargo ship had been transporting hundreds of them before they swept into the storm. Now, only 5 robots were left. Actually, only 4 were left because that first crate was smashed against the rocks, and the robot inside was shattered to pieces. The same thing happened to the next crate. It crashed against the rocks. Robot parts flew everywhere. Then it happened to the next crate and the next. Robot limbs and torsos were flung onto ledges. A robot head smashed into a tide pool. A robot foot skittered into the waves. And then the last crate. It followed the same path as the others, but instead of crashing against the rocks, it sloshed against the remains of the first 4 crates. Soon, more waves were heaving it up out of the water. It soared through the air, spinning and glistening until it slammed down onto a tall shelf of rock. The crate was cracked and crumpled, but the robot inside was safe. Chapter 2, The Otters. The island's northern shore had become something of a robot gravesite. Scattered across the rocks were broken bodies of the 4 dead robots. They sparkled in the early morning light, and their sparkles caught the attention of some very curious creatures. A gang of sea otters were romping through the shallows when one of them noticed some sparkling objects. The otters all froze. They raised their noses to the wind, but they smelled only sea. So they cautiously crept over the rocks to take a closer look. The gang slowly approached a robot torso. The biggest otter stuck out his paw and swatted the heavy thing and quickly jumped back. But nothing happened. So they wiggled over the robot's hand. Another brave otter stuck out her paw and flipped the hand over. It made a lovely clinking sound on the rocks, and the otter squeaked with delight. They spread out and played with the robot's arms and legs and feet. More hands were flipped. One of the otters discovered a robot head in the tide pool, and they all dove in, taking turns rolling it along the bottom. And then they spotted something else. Overlooking the gravesite was one surviving crate. Its sides were scraped and dented, and a wide gash ran through its top. The otters scampered up the rocks and climbed onto the big box. 10 furry faces poked through the gash, eager to see what was inside. What they saw was another brand new robot. But this robot was different from all the others. It was still in one piece, and it was surrounded by smudgy packaging foam. The otters reached to the gash and tore out all the foam. It was soft and squishy. They squeaked as they snatched at the fluffy stuff. Shreds of it floated away on the sea breeze. And in all the excitement, one of their paws accidentally slapped a little important button on the back of the robot's head. Click! It took a while for the otters to realize that something was happening inside the crate. But a moment later, they heard it. A low whirling sound. Everyone stopped and stared. Then the robot opened her eyes. Chapter 3, The Robot. The robot's computer brain booted up. Her program began to coming online. And then, still packed in her crate, she automatically started to speak. Hello, I am Rosum Unit 7134, but you may call me Roz. While my robotic systems are activating, I will tell you about myself. Once I'm fully activated, I will be able to move, communicate, and learn. Simply give me a task and I will communicate it. Over time, I will find better ways to communicate my task. I will become a better robot. When I am not needed, I will stay out of the way and keep myself in good working order. Thank you for your time. I am now fully activated. Chapter 4, The Robot Hatches. As you might know, robots don't really feel emotions. Not in the way animals do. And yet, as she sat in her crumpled crate, Roz felt something like curiosity. She was curious about the warm ball of light shining down from above. So her computer brain went to work, and she identified the light. It was the sun. The robot felt her body absorbing the sun's energy. With each passing minute, she felt more awake. When her battery was good and full, Roz looked around and realized that she was packed inside of a crate. She tried to move her arms, but they were restrained by cords. So she applied more force, and the motors of her arms hummed a little louder, and the cords snapped. Then she lifted her hands and pulled apart the crate. Like a hatchling breaking from its shell, Roz climbed out into the world. All right, guys, what do you think so far? This is going to be an awesome story. Rhaegar wanted to say, hey, you guys, we've done some reading with Rhaegar before. Can you say hey to everybody? All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can keep up with our chapters every day. And if not, just watch them on your own time. And I'll be uploading at least 4 or 5 every day. So keep a lookout.